hit the like button, whatever it is, because we got everything y'all need, man. Listen, and what you ain't looking for, you gonna be looking for it then.
Scribe or Deebo gonna whoop your ass.
Big
What
bag.
up, boss?
What's up?
How you doing, babe?
I'm good, man.
Good. Good to see
How you guys doing,
bro?
bro?
Doing
Doing good.
Doing
Hall of
well.
Fame. Hall
come
of
on.
Fame. Hall of Fame, the man that gave us the opportunity we got right now.
Yes,
We're very thankful for.
No, man. I mean, I thought you guys did an unbelievable job filling in for Ocho and I this summer. And that was the whole purpose of it, was to try to get people and just like, okay, let's see how they handle this situation. How serious are they? Because this is something that you can't do do a Monday and then, oh man, something came up, I can't do it this week. And that's what you run into a lot. Everybody says they want to do it, and then all of a sudden they get into it, and then they realize how much work it actually takes, and then all of a sudden they back away. But we reached out to James, and he was like, "I'll do it." I was like, well, James,
I had been fighting it for a while. That's why it's probably why you were surprised. I had been fighting.
I was very surprised.
So I'm like, I actually, Risa talked me into it. She's like, just come on, just do it. You might you don't know. I'm like, dude, I don't. I'm like, all right.
Because when Ash called me and said, well, James says Deebo said he'll do it. I said, do what? Like he'll do. I was like, does he understand that? Like this is like 3 times and it's like an hour or 2 hours. She's like, yeah. And then after you did it, she's like, he really likes it, and I think he wants to do one. I was like, serious? Well, just find out how serious he is about doing it, and let's find someone that we can pair him with, and go from there. And you guys have done an unbelievable job. So I really appreciate you guys working at it. And the thing is that you try to get better and better each time you do it, and there's a lot of work that goes into it, and you guys have put the work in. So I'm extremely proud of you.
Oh man, thank you.
Yeah, give me some cheat codes to be more successful at it. Because I mean, you doing it. I mean, you doing it awfully well. You know what I'm saying? Like.
I think the biggest thing is be authentic. This is be who you are, and everybody knows who you are. I think the hardest thing for you is because, James, you didn't really do a whole lot of talking when you played. No. So now people are getting an opportunity to hear you. I was always talking. I was always on some bull jive.
Yeah.
But your play speaks for itself. Everybody knows an undrafted free agent that went on to be an all-pro, that been a defensive player of the year, went to multiple Pro Bowls, won a Super Bowl. So your accolades speak for themselves. People don't realize just how much you have to say because you didn't have a lot to say when you actually played. You let your play do your talking. So now it takes a while for people like, okay, he has a lot to say. He knows what he's talking about. Me, I was just the opposite. I started out, I talked when I played, still played at an elite level, and then once I was done, I went straight into television. And so people kind of heard my voice. But I think the biggest thing is with me, look, Nightcap and Club Shay are 2 different platforms. Club Shay is about the guest. My job is to ask questions, try to make them feel as comfortable as possible, and when they come sit down across from me and they look at me, they realize this man ain't here to judge me. My story is my story. I'll allow them to tell it without over-talking them. Club Shay, Ocho and I be on some bull jive.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We're gonna break down the game. We're gonna break down the games, but our motto is come for the sports, stay for the stories, and we have a lot of stories. Obviously, I'm about to be 58 in about 5 months. 4 months actually, and to tell stories from high school and college and in the professional ranks and things that have happened in our life, and Ocho the same way. So I think that's the biggest thing. Just be consistent. People like consistency. There's a reason why, when you look at sitcoms, they came on at the same time every week. They didn't come on this week Seinfeld came on Monday, next week he's gonna come on Thursday, the next week he's gonna come on Saturday. It's every single, and so people like to oh man, Deebo and Joe, they come on every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. They're gonna come on at the same time. Okay, boom, let's lock that in. And so that's basically how you do it. But you have to be consistent, and you can't be afraid. Whatever you say, you have to stand behind it. And look, if you get better information, more information, you're like, okay, this is what I thought, but now more information has come forward, and then you move off of that. But I think that's the biggest thing for me is what I've learned is that, look, I know what I know. What I don't know, I'm willing to ask. And if I'm wrong, I'll say I was wrong in this situation. Let me tell you why I said what I said. But new information has come out, and we move forward.
So when you first got started, How was that process? What were you learning through and building through to where you're at where you're at now with your first spot?
When we started Club Shay, Fox wrote it into my contract that I would do a podcast. I had no idea. The only person I knew had a podcast was Joe Rogan. I didn't understand anything about podcasts and anything like that. And so CJ, who's my EP, was at Fox, and he was trying to explain it to me. I said, well, all right, we'll do it. And it just so happens the first couple of years we didn't do anything, but then COVID happened.
Right.
And so they wanted an alternative to have people to be able to sit down and have something to watch and not be bored and have the monotony of the day just overtake them. And so I was like, well, CJ, man, I got to start this pod. I mean, what are you thinking? I was like, man, who am I going to call? He's like, look in your phone, call the most famous people that you know, and see if they'll come on your podcast. It's going to be remote, so all you got to do, I was like, okay. So I'm looking at my phone. I got Floyd Mayweather. I got Snoop Dogg. I got Ice Cube. I got Master P. I got Magic Johnson. I was like, okay. So and reached out to Gil but DeMar DeRozan was the actual first guy that we did it live, because prior to that everything was Zoom.
Right.
And we were getting good numbers. I mean, my brother went on and he was my very first guest, and he did 1 million views. And I was like, CJ, is that good? CJ looked at me like, do you understand?
Yeah.
I was like, is that good, CJ? He's like, no, that ain't good. That's great. I was like, oh, okay. So I just thought it was easy. And once we got that, because I think the thing is that I always ask the guests, is there anything that you don't want to talk about? And in the process of asking them that, I believe, because if you're sitting on that couch, I believe you have a career that's expansive enough and that's spanned long enough that we can talk about things that's not your most salacious or most embarrassing detail, and you still have a very interesting story to tell.
Gotcha.
And so that's how I look at that. Nightcap is that when I was leaving, when I left Undisputed, I went to the Volume, and the thing I love about Club Shay is weekly, but it's just hard to get around something that's weekly. YouTube, it rewards frequency. So I needed something that we could do, 2-3 times a week. And so Jamie Horowitz and I, who was at the Volume, he's like, so what do you think about this? He says, you can own a space that nobody's in. I was like, okay, what kind of space is that? He said, have you thought about potentially after games? I was like, yeah, I like that. Yeah, that sounds good. I said, we'll come on, we'll do like 30 minutes, we'll take the 3 or the 4 most important games and we'll discuss them. I was like, okay, yeah, I like that. He said, you want to do it by? I said, nah, I don't want to do it by myself. He said, who would you want to do it with? I said, Ocho.
Instantly.
He said, Chad Johnson?
Yeah.
I said, yeah. He said, why? I said, because he's unassuming. I said, he doesn't take himself too serious, and he's the antithesis of what I am. He don't take anything serious. I take everything serious. So it's going to work because of his personality and my personality. And it just so happens that his agent used to work with my agent in the office. So I called him. I said, Doug, man, what Ocho doing? He's like, man, it's funny that you say that. Ocho's in town right now. I said, can you guys meet us at the Palm? Say, I think this was like a Wednesday or a Thursday. Can you meet us at the Palm at, say, 1 o'clock? He's like, yeah, no problem. So he shows up, and I'm telling him what I'm trying to do. I said, man, look here, check this out. I got this idea. Jamie and I, we got this idea. I said, what we would do is that after the game, after the Sunday night football game, after the Monday night football game, we would go live. And we would talk about Sunday night, there's a lot more to talk about, but we'd talk about all the games and the interesting stories. And he's like, I'm in. I said, bro, I didn't tell you the rest of it. He said, I don't care. He said, Unc, if you're doing it, I want to be a part of it. And the rest is, as they say, is history.
That's so good. That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's the thing. I think the thing is that it's really hard. I take my hat off to Colin because Colin, for the most part, speaks 3 hours every day, and it's basically him. He bounces things off Jason occasionally, but for him to talk 3 hours a day by himself, I want a different person. I want a different perspective. Okay, this is what I think. What do you think?
Yes.
And then we go back and forth. Sometimes we debate that situation, and sometimes we're like, okay, we're going to agree to disagree. But for the most part, I need someone to have a different perspective, a divergent opinion than what I have, because even though we kind of played the same position, I was a tight end, he was a wide receiver, we see things differently. We see a lot of things differently. I'm going to hold guys accountable. But I realize now, as I've gotten older and in this age of social media and internet, these guys are different, man. These guys, but I couldn't
feel like it's sensitive.
They are, but you know what would bother me, Deebo and Joe, is that the lateness, I cared about winning. All this other brand building and all this other stuff and TikTok videos and all this. And I was talking to someone, I was talking to Sherm last night. I said, Sherm, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. If I was currently playing, ain't no way I'd do a podcast.
No.
Not while I'm an active player. Now, I would be, I would have a general idea of kind of direction that I want to go in. But to have it and to be, because what happens when you play good, you're going to want to talk, and when you play bad, you ain't got ish to say.
Now, how much of that podcast is really, truly 100% authentic? Because we're not going to be taking the comments and questions that come from the loss, especially things that may be directed towards coaches and ownership and all that, because you're still there.
Because you know what they're going to say? See, Deebo, if you got your ass off that podcast, you'd have played better.
1,000%.
And then you're going to feel some type of way. Hey, Joe, you out there getting cooked because you got
podcasting. Backpedal, watch some tape.
No question.
And so that's how it is. And I think the thing is, look, for the longest time, when I first got into the league in '90, guys had a problem with people critiquing their play that didn't play the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
They like, you know what? I don't have somebody critiquing my game if they played said game. Okay, so now fast forward, we got guys that played the game. We played the game at an elite level. We won at a
know nothing no more.
And now we don't know.
The game is what the game is.
The game is what the game is.
And that's when I say, too, how you say, when we know the plays, I'm not trying to say the corner gets beat on this play. But if you get blown coverage, I'm going to call it out. Like, that's not, you got to make sure you got your man.
Yeah, that's it.
So
exactly.
Them not being able to take accountability.
No, they won't. They won't, because it's almost like, well, you hating. Bro, have you seen my resume?
I don't want to hate
I've seen your resume and I've seen my resume. Now, you tell me why I'm hating. I'm just saying, I'm not saying, and they take everything so personal. I'm not saying you're a bad player.
Yes.
I'm saying that was a bad play, and you happen to be involved in it.
1,000%.
But they can't take it like that. And so, but I think the thing is, Time told me something very long time ago. He says, when you say something, it stings, it hurts more, because he said, Shannon, you got a gold jacket. You went to Pro Bowls, you went to All-Pro, and you won Super Bowls. You're just not some arbitrary guy saying something about said player. So what you say holds more weight. And I was like, you're right. You absolutely right. And that's why I stopped speaking on the Hall of Fame, because they would take Pro Football Hall of Famer says he doesn't think such and such should be in the Hall of Fame. That ain't what I said. You asked me a question. I was like, so I just stopped speaking when it came to the Hall of Fame. I'm still going to critique hell out of these players, and I think for the most part, when I run into players, they will tell me this: say, you hard, but you fair.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's all you can be. You be fair to the individual. It's not personal. I don't know the individual. I don't know this guy. I don't know what he does. I don't know if he's married. He has a girlfriend. He has kids. I don't know anything about his back. I'm just critiquing you about what I see on the field. That's how I judge you. I'm judging what you do on the field. I'm not judging you as a father. I'm not judging you as a son. I'm not judging you as a brother. I'm judging you as a football player based on my knowledge and based on what I see. That's 100%. It.
Yeah, I think they take too much of it personally. and it's like an impersonal attack on them. No, it's an attack on what you're doing as a player.
Correct.
In that position.
On that play.
Yes, on that play or that game. Hell, you might have messed up the whole damn game. You know what I'm saying?
Well, hopefully you didn't mess up the whole game, man. But, guys, I want to congratulate you guys. You guys are doing an unbelievable job, man. It means a lot that you guys, you thought enough of me and my platform and to wanted to have your own platform up under my platform. That means a lot. Continue success. Continue to work hard, and it's only up. The first year is always the hardest. It does get easier and easier, but that because it gets easier, that doesn't mean you have to work any less hard. You have to work harder in order for it to grow, and I'm sure you guys will continue this great success.
Yes,
I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you, boss.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The big game is almost here, and there's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. It also means it's your last chance to get in on the football action before next season. So close your season out right with Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. The playoffs has been crazy, and I still got my eyes on Seattle. And that duel of Sam Darnold and JSN just screams more. I mean, more. I think they could go all the way. And the new feature alert, Prize Picks now has early payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. Find your community on Prize Picks. With the new social feeds feature, you can share Prize Picks with your friends and copy lineups from winners with a single click. Copy lineups you like or use them as inspiration for your own picks. You can even follow Prize Picks partners like us and play or fade our picks with just one click. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just download the Prize Picks app today and use the code DEBOJOE to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That code is DEBOJOE to get 50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.